There are not enough O's in smooth for that little throw to me, Boz.
Another thing as well, I'm going to bring this up next time I see Anthony Abdo or Volandis at the fish market. It should be squad list Tuesday. But go on, go.
Don't call him Anthony.
Please don't call him Anthony.
Andrew. Andrew. All right. Tomato. You know what I meant. Yeah.
Bozzy, you've been itching for the Raiders.
Go. No, I want to give this a go. Let's go.
And we're quite happy to report. So Ricky Stewart has named a full-strength team, which is what you want to do in round one games for the historic Las Vegas encounter. So Zach Hossing was probably the only player that was entering this game under somewhat of a cloud, but he's got through a calf injury. So they're full strength. So on the back of elevation to the top 30 squad a week ago, only a week ago, he was outside the top 30, but he played that good in trial matches.
Right.
Young gun Owen Patty, he's going to make his debut off the bench, while former Dragon Civilio Tamale lines up for only his second career game on a wing. Jamal Fogarty, who missed a lot of footy last year, I think he only played 13 or 14 games for the Raiders. He's going to play halfback, partnered by Ethan Strange. Young gun Ethan Strange, going to be a gun for a very, very long time. Captain Joseph Tarpany leads a very powerful pack that includes Hudson Young, who's had a big week with the inflatable hammer, and Big Red Corey Horsburgh. Josh Papali is there as well. Rounding out the reserves, Ethan Sanders and Chevy Stewart are among the reserves.
Okay.
And Danny Levi, 18th man for the Wars. Big recruit.
Whoa. Full name, please. If you want me to give this a proper go, this team is Tuesday. I want
the New Zealand Warriors.
Thank you very much. Now,
otherwise known
proceed.
as the Wars. Star recruit, James, probably I'd argue, the biggest recruit of the off-season, James Fisher-Harris.
Okay.
And Kangaroos prop, they're the new Bash brothers in terms of front row combinations. So they're going to line up next to each other. They're going to lead the Warriors into a new era. So no Sean Johnson. I'm sure you've heard of Sean Johnson before, Boz. So it's life after SJ for the Warriors. And Adam Fanua-Blake, who is playing in the later game in Vegas. Where the big changes are occurring are in the halves. Luke Metcalf and Chanel Harris-Tavita. That's the way they're going with Andrew Webster. They're going to line up in the halves. And Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is back on a wing.
Okay.
She once won a Dally M Winger of the Year award all the way back in 2013. So he's back there.
He won the title as well, didn't he, with the Roosters, yeah?
I reckon you're right there, boss.
I think I am. Anyway,
any questions?
No questions just yet. We'll do them at the end. As part of my giving a fair go to this team this Tuesday, we're now going to Brooksy, who will be.
We can still talk about that game if you want.
We'll get back to that because
we'll go back.
You got to think about the Panthers and the Sharks fans. They're like, I want to hear our ones now. So Brooksy will be taking care of the reigning four-time champions, the Penrith Panthers, followed by the Cronulla Sharks. Off you go, Brooksy.
Beautiful. So Panthers fans, your stars are in the team. Nathan Cleary, Liam Martin, Dylan Edwards, all good to go after their surgeries. But Brian To'o will miss the match due to hamstring injury, which sees Casey McLean coming in on the wing. He scored 4 tries on his test debut for the Kiwis in November. Paul Alamotti slots in on the other wing. He had an elbow injury in the off-season, so he's overcome that. The only change to the grand final pack is Lindsay Smith taking over from said biggest recruit, James Fisher-Harris, at prop, while former Tiger Isaiah Papali'i, utility Dane Laurie, emerging prop Luran Patea, and workhorse Matt Eisenhuth form a new look interchange bench. Brad Schneider is the other big question mark here. He isn't the 6. Jack Cole is. He'll be in jersey number 18 as one of the replacements in the match. And Blaze Talangi misses out. He's in the reserves.
Okay. And now let's talk about the Cronulla Sharks, please.
Sharkies. Sione Katoa, as we know, will miss the start of the season with his shoulder injury. So Sam Stonestreet made his debut last year, scored plenty of tries filling in for when Katoa was out. He will be on the wing. Adam Fanua-Blake, probably, if he's not one, he's the second biggest signing this year.
One of the biggest signings, we'll say.
Left the Warriors, came to the Sharks. He's in that pack. The pack looks good, Bozza.
Does it?
You've got Adam Fanua-Blake, Oregon Kafusi, Britton Nickora, Teague Wilton, Cam McInnes, and Blake Brayley as the starting forward pack. You've got Braden Hamlin-Ueli on the bench with Tommy Hazelton, Siosifa Talakai. Daniel Atkinson's the 14. The Sharkies look really good in this match.
Let's get to the Cronulla Sharkies. Let's go.
Formidable looking pack. That was the Cronulla Sharkies.
That's what I mean. Yes. Now, start off. with your summation of the Sharks and the Panthers' chances then for the season, please?
Can I say, I think we're going to see a little. So your chat has been, why are you naming a team now? It's probably not going to be the 17 that runs out on the day. Yeah. It's a squad. Luke Garner named in the centres there, Brooks.
Yes.
One that probably jumped out to me. So Paul Alamotti, he was playing centre for the Panthers last year, named on a wing. I think we might see a little reshuffle there of some description. Looking at the names on the reserves list, we've got a Jesse McLean or a Blaze Talangi, who's played. He filled a few little gaps in the outside backs for the
fullback centre, 6.
Played anywhere. Yeah. So I would be shocked if we see Luke Garner run out in the centres. That would be my early guess.
Early smokescreen from Ivan Cleary.
Me tourist.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's go back to you, Sean. Just give us a quick summation, please, of the Canberra Raiders and the New Zealand Warriors' chances of success this season, please.
So what about this for some yin and yang action from last year? So the Raiders, they won 8 games by less than 4 points. They also lost 2 games by less than 4 points. On the flip side, I think the Warriors, it might have been a different margin. I think it was 6 points. They lost 8 games by less than 6 and only won 2 or 3. So it's going to be you can't really look too much into the ladder position of last year, I don't think, with these two sides. The key inclusion for the Raiders, as I said, he missed a lot of footy last year, is Jamal Fogarty. That's probably the difference between them maybe winning a couple more games than what they did in the end last year. I'm fascinated to see that new halves combo, Chanel Harris-Tavita, Luke Metcalf.
Because of Sean Johnson not being there.
Because of SJ. Because if you look, they're pretty similar players when you look at them. They like to run the ball, Boz.
Right.
But in the trial matches, and again, only trials, but Luke Metcalf was playing a real traditional halfback sort of role. He was playing probably both sides of the field. Chanel Harris-Tavita was jammed to one side. Fascinating to see how they play as a combo.
Last question before we go to Brooksy about the other two sides. Can either of these teams, and by that I mean the Canberra Raiders or the New Zealand Warriors, in your opinion, win the title? Can they win the grand final?
I don't think the Raiders can. The Warriors have a good enough pack. They could go on a run. That combination of Fisher Harris and now Mitchell Barnett, Murata Corey missed a lot of footy as well. Like they could go on a run, and there's enough strike in their back line to score plenty of points. Can they click straight away? Because it's new combinations pretty much everywhere. That's the only question mark, Boz. Okay. What's going to be fascinating? So I think you asked Fletch, much smaller pitch in Vegas.
Yeah.
The Raiders not notorious for their attacking prowess last year, and now the Warriors with those new halves combos. I think we could see a very low scoring game here.
Okay, on to you, Brooksy. Quick summation of the two sides, and tell me whether any of these two sides, in your opinion, can win the title.
Raiders, Warriors. Well, there was a few.
No. Your game.
Oh, moving on. I want to talk about the first game.
Let me talk
you were
assigned to the second game. I'm sorry.
Okay, so this is two heavyweights in the
NRL.
NRL.
Talk to me on the phone tonight about the other game, but right now for our viewers.
Two heavyweights in the NRL going at it. This could be one of the last games of the season, whether it's a prelim or a grand final. Okay. We're looking at probably two of the top 4 teams. Okay. Like the Aden Fanua-Blake signing is massive. Like it's going to be a game changer for that forward pack. They have lost a few people. They've re-signed a lot of players as Sharkies. I think Sharks fans and Craig Fitzgibbon and the Sharkies brass are pretty confident this team can go pretty deep this year. Panthers going for 5 straight. It's ridiculous, Bozza. Haven't seen that in our era.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
They've lost plenty of players. I think they've only got 7. So 6 players and Ivan Cleary that were there in that first grand final. So it is going to be tough for them to get through and win the title. It will be, naturally. They've lost a half in Jerome Luai and one of their veteran forwards, James Fisher-Harris. Like, it is going to be a tough ride. If there's a team that can do it, it is probably the Penrith Panthers because of previous form and what we've seen of them.
If you're a Sharks supporter listening, I'll ask you a question. Why can I get excited about possibly being a champion this season, like to win the grand final, if I'm a Sharks supporter?
Their depth's good, their forward pack's good, their halves combination has grown and will be one of the better halves in 2025.
Grown
a
as
lot
a
of
pair
pressure.
Or as in inches?
Yes, yeah. Braden Trindle, and their heights, they're wearing heels. No, Braden Trindle had some ups and downs last year, but at the back end of the year, shone for the Sharks, was one of their first re-signings in the off-season. He was a priority. I locked that down. There is pressure on Nicho Hynes to perform in big matches. There has been the stigma around the Sharkies being failing in finals over the last few years, but they've done and recruited well to be able to get to that next step.
Okay.
They did get to the prelim against the Panthers last year.
Yep.
They'll be looking to go one step. I think Sharks fans are keen.
If you were to ask Nicho Hynes, I reckon this time last year, if you could have pick any player in the comp that you could have in your side that's going to make you a better player, I would almost argue it could be Adam Fanua-Blake.
Right.
When Nicho's airborne, and we probably saw it before he got to the Sharkies, he's playing a bit of fullback at the Melbourne Storm. When he's at his best, he comes from a touch footy background as well, Boz. That'll get Sugar really fired up. Needs to play fast. There's no better bloke in the comp that can take a big, tough carry, but then bang, playing the ball fast. And as soon as Nicho's playing on the front foot, dangerous.
Okay, you pair of Teamless Tuesday fanatics. I'm going to ask you both a question, and I just would like a yes or no answer, please. We'll start with you, Sean. Is Ivan Cleary now, after his amazing achievement of winning 4 titles straight, in an era where there's a salary cap and you have to get rid of players, is he now the greatest coach of all time?
Oh, does that have to be
yes or no? Or you can always listen. In the spirit of the show, being in Vegas, blah blah blah, America, you can take the 5th. You can take the 5th. Yeah,
I'm taking the 5th. I think.
All right, you're taking the 5th.
That's one hell of a question.
Well, I'm one hell of a person. That's what happens.
There's a text line question. 0457 736 736. Answer, Bozza. Is he now the greatest of all time?
Brooksy?
You have to. I think you say yes. There was media saying he was going to be the biggest loser. So the coach that had racked up the most amount of losses without winning a premiership. That was 4 years ago. He then goes on and wins 4 straight. He's had in an era where salary cap is so effective in terms of leveling the playing field. They've won every grand final. The Broncos probably should have won 2023.
Nah, I watched that game. No chance.
They did come home strong, but they didn't. They didn't. The Panthers won.
No
they stuck solid.
Remember how hot it was that day? That southerly change come in? And the Panthers come with the southerly change. Anyway, I just wanted a yes
from
or
the
no.
West.
Just wanted a yes or no answer.
I think yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's hard. And I wasn't there for some of the great coaches.
Your Honour, I just asked for a yes or no answer.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Brooks, please sit down.
What do you think? Yes or no?
Yes. 4 straight. Come on, man. 4 straight in this era when you got that ridiculous salary cap and all that. You're losing players every year. It's an amazing achievement. Really, could have been 5, right? That the first grand final that they had was against Melbourne Storm. Where they
came home strong.
Very close, yeah. And they had to lose the best player.
It was 20. They were 22-0 down.
That's one thing.
They won 4.5 premierships.
That is one thing that I want to achieve in rugby league is to basically rid this thing somehow of when you do well, you have to get rid of players. I think it's an abomination of life and our values that when you do well, you get punished. I think it really is anti everything we believe in.
It's how markets work, though, Boz. That's just a
market forces. It's not. What market?
It is.
No, it's not.
The player market. Their price goes up. Boom. See you later.
Not in other sports. No. Exactly. They should be able to reward those players. If I say to you, look, Sean, you're coming in here right now. You're doing a show. Here's your KPIs. I really want you. And you get SEN's audience up to levels never seen before. You should share in that sex. I shouldn't have to turn around and say, now he's done that, I have to get rid of him because of the salary cap. It's ridiculous. I should be able to reward you. Yeah?
I don't have to get rid of him.
What?
The player just wants more money. That's how the market works.
Yeah, and they should be entitled to get it because they've done well. Yeah? How do you get rewarded when you finish lower? It's ridiculous. So lower teams get the first pick or whatever. Lower teams can go, I can get this. That's ridiculous.
That team gets rewarded because they've won a competition. They're down in history.
Exactly. So then that's what I'm saying to you. They should have the ability.
That's the reward.
They should have the ability to say, Jerome Luai, listen, whatever you want, you can have because you've done a job for us. You've done a business. Well, you know what? We're going to have to get rid of you. That's got to stop.
What, and for instance, in your argument, what his salary would go, because he's been there 7 years, it's 80% of the salary cap. So if you re-sign Luai for $1 million, let's say, because you want to see the stars stay in the teams where they can keep being successful, so they should Luai be 800 on the cap but be paid $1 million? Do you want there to be discounts for players for staying at the same club?
You're overcomplicating things.
I don't know. Well, this is your idea.
In the cap, people can you can have a general cap to say you can spend 2/3 or whatever you want.
Close talking.
7/10. Yeah, I'm getting a bit of cane
7/10.
Right, 2/3 of your turnover can go on players' wages and transfers. right? That you can do something like that, right? But people turn around and say, well, that translates to pretty much the same. Okay, but you can have special dispensation. You can do what they do in American and play the luxury tax like the American baseball you want. You should not be punished for being successful. It's completely against what we stand for and our values.
How are they punished?
Because they have to get rid of players because they want more money, understandably.
Hey, there's been one more team list Tuesday.
Yeah.
It just come across my desk.
What is
Bozza.
it? Yes.
Delta Goodrum, out.
What for?
The Stafford brothers, in.
Oh,
Is this
I knew that
halftime
last,
entertainment
no, last
tourist?
night. The Stafford brothers are very good.
Is this halftime? Is this a halftime gig or a
The
pre-game
Stafford
gig?
brothers have come with the Fanatics and the Bozo on World Cup tours. They're excellent. Yeah.
You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.